Welcome and hello everyone, I am Sanguine Rose, and with unOrdinary's, or UNO for short, second season wrapping up, now is a good time to look upon the past and see how well is it written. Are the major plot points set up? Do the characters' actions stay consistent? And does the story properly convey its theme? Well, to start, let's ask the simple question. What is UNO? Chapter 1. The cake is a lie. Uno is a superhero genre webtoon exploring a world where everyone has a superpower, in this world called an ability, as opposed to My Hero Academia, which has a similar premise. Uno takes its concept in a more down-to-earth direction, where the abilities are treated as just a normal fact of life, and the usage of them for violence is treated as a common occurrence, barely worthy of note for all but the strongest of people. Superheroes are a new concept, and not necessarily a good thing. Let's look at the prologue and get this started. The first half is an unspecified narrator informing us about a book written by their father, with the same name as the series. We will come back to this book later when it is more relevant. Right now, all you need to know is that it's important to the narrator and it's about one person with an ability in a world of cripples who uses their power to make the world a better place. The second half introduces us to the central location for most of the story, Wellston Private High School, where we are introduced to two powered people who are fighting over the last piece of cake in the cafeteria. Remy, who can channel lightning, and Arlo, whose ability is a bit less clear. We also meet our narrator, bemoaning missing out on the cake once again, the man whose helmet hair gives Rock Lee a fight for his money, John. Chapters 1 through 3. Taco Bell hits like a bag of bricks. Before we go and dissect the contents for details, let's describe the happenings of these three chapters. John gets bored stiff in what seems to be a geometry class before asking to leave to go to the bathroom. He reaches his location just in time to see a redhead named Blake launch through a wall over breaking a pen, and he proceeds to charge a Dragon Ball energy blast in his hands like he's been training to do the Kamehameha. All we know at this time about Blake's assailant is his name is Isaac, and he cares enough about pens to launch a person through a wall. John, reasonably not wanting to be caught anywhere near a Dragon Ball energy blast, runs to the other bathroom on the other side of the school, where he unfortunately stumbles upon another instance of random violence. Faced with the potential of turning around and going back towards the other fight, he chooses to intervene here, where this gray-haired guy asks a demure tan-hand twink to do that thing again, which, in the middle of an assumed empty hallway, while classes are ongoing, right next to the bathroom, that is kind of sus, man. Potential gay handies aside, the gray-haired dumbass is clearly bullying or abusing the tan-haired twink. So John, like the chat he is, interferes, giving the tan twink time to escape, which they immediately do without hesitation. The gray-haired boy recognizes John as the school cripple, which, while furthering the MHA comparison, since we know the cripples are essentially people without powers, it is also just an important thing to know about our protagonist. After John takes a severe punch and retaliates, the gray-haired dumbass, who we're just gonna call Gray until we actually get his name, activates his ability, turning his skin a darker gray, and he starts kind of like glowing with purple eyes. Uh, he starts monologuing and tries to do another punch, which John blocks. Then John shows he's been to the Sherlock School of ass kicking as he internally analyzes his opponent's ability, realizing it's just a basic buff disguised as something kind of flashy, before proceeding to counter monologue about the strongest people in the school while moving over to a window to defenestrate his opponent, which, for those who don't know, is throwing him out a third-story window. Somehow this works. John is shocked that he managed to, just throw a person out a window. Realizes during this kerfuffle he broke his arm, And then it cuts to a scene of a mysterious girl sitting on a rooftop in a school uniform. With the events of these chapters covered, let's go into some details. The first and simplest, the identity of the rooftop baddie. Well, we can tell they were fast enough to get some of the cake, which, if we go by the prologue, seems to be a fairly hard thing to do, and John even praises Remy, implying her to be pretty powerful earlier in this chapter. So, we can tell something about her, but it might not be that she's powerful, and considering the fact that she says sing on the rooftop in the middle of classes, it might just be she got there early because she just doesn't go to classes, so could be a delinquent. The second piece of the puzzle is in John's stall monologue. He brings up 4 people: Remy, who can burn him to a crust, which is correct; Blake and Eisen, who are currently fighting in Wallach Hall, and the only one of them we haven't been introduced to yet, Serafina, who he compares to a god. If we consider that the rooftop baddie is geographically positioned above everyone else, I think it's pretty easy to guess that she is Serafina. Now, shall we turn these chapters into a pincushion with the amount of stuff we need to, keep a note of? Let's start with our unnamed twink. When he runs away, we see him starting to turn invisible, which, well, completely useless when going up against DBZ laser beams. It's still a pretty cool ability, all things considered. Second up, the teacher sure had a cool design. I hope we see them again, and maybe they get some interesting speaking lines other than, talking about their subject. Third, this might be the longest held pin. Let's just keep note of anyone else wearing the school vest. Just keep it in mind, we will hopefully address it again. As of right now, we have the Twink and John, and that's literally it. Everybody's not wearing it. Finally, we have the first great pin for the shit that is just actually important and massive. In the middle of the defenestration, for a single panel, we kind of see something like John's eyes glowing when every other character uses their ability. Which, considering he is apparently a well-known cripple, is questionable. However, as of right now, we have no other material to work with, and it just as easily could have been an aesthetic choice. We are going to dismiss this until we have some more proof for or against that. Well, for now, that's kind of the end of chapters 1 through 3. Hopefully, I will be able to come back and do more for you all. Until then, have day, do well, goodbye.